Right, we're live. I'm just going to wait for this stream to start, make sure it does work.
I've got the live symbol on mine.
Yeah, I've got the live on mine. This is what happened last week. Yeah. Right. Welcome everybody to the latest episode of MTFU Tuesdays. This week's episode is going to be all about medkits, what to have in them, what you should have in them, stuff like that. Obviously, we're a bit light panel members, so if any of you would like to be on the panel, give us a shout, and we'll get a link sent out to you if that's what you want to be on, just through Google Hangouts. So you're more than welcome. So I'm trying to think. Right, let's start. Not with these, so I can see all of the comments as they come in. Not that we're going to get many. Right. Medkits. Where would you start with medkits, Kev?
Right. So I just put you on mute. I had you on. Right, medkits. I think, as a general rule, in my opinion, a lot of people go out, buy a medkit, that's it, done, and that's not really. They don't adjust it for the situation or the environment they're going to be in. They just get a shop brought one. I don't know, from go outdoors, 10 or 15 quid. That's it, done. When they will only cater for minor cuts, scratches, bites, and blisters, that sort of thing. If you're going to be going around and playing with extremely sharp sharps and etc., I think there's a need for a bit more of a advanced med kit or first aid kit than what we'd normally carry. And yeah, so not just your typical shop brought one. I don't think that's any good. You'll have to do a bit of research. Like I say, if you're going to be doing a lot of carving or something, a lot of axe work. I mean, if you take an axe in the shin or an axe in the hand,
yeah,
your med kit's not going to be up to much good. So, yeah. So I've catered mine myself. I've got about 30 items in mine, and hopefully they will cover me from anything from Lily getting a small nick, which she tends to do. She handles her own knife when we're out, and she only ever gets cut taking the knife out of the sheath, even though she's been taught properly and everything else. So mainly I just get through a lot of plasters. So obviously I have to have them sort of plasters in there. But I take stuff for bigger cuts if we need it. Stuff like syringes and needles to wash the wounds, and steri strips. Getting onto your bigger cuts, your correct bandages and gauze strips and all that sort of thing I've got in there for bigger cuts. I've also got a suture kit in case I have to do a John Rambo and stitch myself up, which I hope I never have to do it. So my hand would be shaking so much. I've seen myself trying to stitch leather. It's not pretty. But also I carry some stuff, some heavier duty scissors or shears than your basic, I don't know, the ones that you get in there, what you put for a good bandage or a good thick plaster and sort of bending off on you. I've also got like water purification tablets and stuff in there, in case it turns into a bit of survival situation. If I don't know, if I broke my ankle in the Lake District somewhere. I've also got stuff like temporary tooth filling. I've got like the stuff that you press into your teeth if you break your tooth or your tooth filling falls out. It just means that you can carry on your camp, without living in agony or discomfort, and you can sort yourself out. We've got military dressings in there as well. Also, a little mirror if I have to take an injury to my face, and you're out by yourself and you ain't got a mirror with you, then you can't tend to a burn or something in your eye. So carry a mirror, a whistle as well. I don't know if I'm a bit weak and if I've hurt myself and I'm weak, it would take a lot less energy and effort to have a good whistle rather than trying to shout and raise the alarm. Also, all the sterile stuff and all the solutions and gloves and tweezers and that sort of stuff. That's basically ran through my list.
Yeah, I've pretty much got all of that stuff that you've just mentioned. I've got super glue as well.
Super glue.
Yeah, just obviously cuts and nicks. Sometimes it's a lot easier to super glue yourself together than it is.
Well, that's right. It was invented in the trenches, wasn't it?
Yeah, but obviously I've got some stitches and stuff. I've got quite a few actually. They are out of date, but at the end of the day, if you need to stitch yourself up, you're not going to be bothered if it's out of date or not.
No.
They're all gamma irradiated anyway, so I can't see. As long as the packaging's all right, they're going to be fine. I'm just trying to have a look. Obviously, I know that scissors and stuff like that. Is it Leatherman who's just brought out their Raptor?
I'm not sure.
I think they're about Leatherman prices are they're about 60, 70 quid, but they're an EMT shares, but an EMT share multi-tool. Which was quite weird. Oh, Fergus is actually alive.
He's not busy making babies then, is he?
Nah, it mustn't be. So we've got Fergs and we've got Scott. We've got Bangers on the side chat. I'm just trying to think what to cover really, because it's with there only being the two we're here. It's
yeah, we'll just try and give some tips and whatever we can.
Yeah, I mean,
another thing is like to take your everyday medication in there as well. Make sure you've got a good supply of that in there. But also, and it's a key point that a lot of people will do, or a lot of people might make the mistake of doing, should I say, is make sure you're not allergic to anything in your own kit. I mean, because the last thing you want to go out and take a bit of medicine when you're out and it make you worse on top of your injury or your ailment that you've got is to be allergic to your own kit when you're out. I mean, especially if you was like by yourself and you was got yourself in a bit of a situation and then you take something you're allergic to. It sounds daft, but it's easily overlooked.
Yeah, I did that last year. I was due to go out on an overnighter and I'd knacked my ankle, so I ended up on naproxen. Never had them before in my life, and it turned out I actually had a bad reaction to them. But luckily I hadn't gone out because I thought I'd read all the stuff that came in the box. I thought I'm not risking it.
No.
So just obviously things like that, you've got to make sure that you're not allergic. You're not going to have a bad reaction. If it's stuff that you're taking all the time, fair enough, because you know what it's like. But obviously if you're just going out for the day, you can just have, you only really need some plasters and stuff like that. As long as you've got plasters and a phone, you should be fine just for the day.
Yeah, like I say, it's you can slim it down, but most of the time, even if I'm going out for the day, I'll carry a knife, and that's probably one of the most dangerous objects I carry, and one that I'm most likely to get injured by. So, if I'm going out for the day or not, I tend to just take the same kit, which is probably about 15 centimeters long and about 8 centimeters squared. So it just fits in my pouch nicely, and it's in its own pouch, and it just comes out and in. And then I just know. Trying to think what else I've got in it. I think I've got a condom in there, a tampon. I think I carry a tampon in there. What else? Oh yeah, insect repellent and bite treatment. Lily's terrible for that because she's so small, and sometimes they're in deep grass or deep shrubbery, or they just seem to just like all attack her right around like a breast area and under her armpits. She seems to be at the right height just for everything to just jump off leaves and grab her. We took her out last year, and she never itched once until she come home after the weekend, and she had a bath, and I stopped counting of mosquito bites at 200 under one armpit, and she was covered. So I really have gone to town with I forgot what spray's in there now. Jungle Formula, I think it's called.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Yeah, Jungle Formula. That's in there just to protect her, because I can imagine that was torture for her, for the next week. Safety pins. I don't know if I mentioned them.
Yeah.
Some complete blister patches I've got.
I think Oxford Bushcrafts just asked, would you recommend an emergency survival blanket? Obviously not all the time, but maybe on campouts. To be honest, I mean, Fergus really hit it on the head, saying for the space to take up, it's worth carrying one anyway.
Yeah.
Which I'd probably agree with that, because they don't take up any space.
No. Yeah. I haven't got one in mind at the moment, but that's because I used it as a reflector over a fire when I got cold. So once I used it once, it sort of went in the bin rather than try and pack it all back up. So yeah, but that's actually reminded me I need to refill that. But yeah, like Fergus put, it weighs nothing, takes up no space, just have it in there. And then, if you're walking across someone that's had a tumble even, you just lob it over them I think you can get them from the pound shop. Just lob it over someone that's down and that's it. You can go on your way.
I'm trying to think where I got some from for nothing. All of these Army, Navy recruitment days. I think the Royal Marines were having one around by me, and that's where I got one from. We'll just giving them away. It's like, all right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Flatbroke Frank says, if you practice safe knife law, then you're more likely to receive an insect sting, minor cut, sunburn, or chapped lips.
I tend to disagree.
Yeah. Obviously, I know Shane posted some images of him just putting his knife back in his sheath, and the knife literally cut through the back of the sheath, and that is being safe as well, putting it back in when you're not using it, and it's sliced straight through his sheath and cut him. So I think you've got to kind of prepare just to be worst case, really, because especially if you're using an axe, it doesn't take 3 seconds just to lose track of what you're doing.
Yeah,
I mean, we've all done it.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, I've never had anything yet other than just something resembling a paper cut, touch wood. But it's so easy. I don't know any professional instructor out there that's not really severed into the hand. Craig's done his hand. I've seen people put the axe in their ankles. You only have to get something a split second wrong. Yeah. Another one, MCQ, his last video, he's cut all his hand up, he's doing a spoon.
Yeah.
I think the more you use a knife, the more likely it is. All right, your skills and techniques will advance and you will get better. But the more you do something, the chances are that something could happen, even though your skills are improving. But that's just my take on it.
No, I kind of agree with that. Because it is one of them things, you get complacent with it. The more you're using it, the more you get complacent with it, and it's 30 seconds, not even 30 seconds, 3 seconds of, you take your eyes off what you're doing, and you could lop your finger off, especially using an axe.
Yeah, well, I told you about nearly taking Lily's fingers off before, didn't I? The first full time I did a video with Lily, the first full time, I think it was like on my second video where I was doing the Bushcraft for Children episodes. I said, right, I want you to just go out and process all the wood, the firewood, your kindling, your bird's nest, and we do it a full natural fire from scratch. And we did it all, and she processed, she battened down some wood, she did a bit of feathering, and just as we did it all on a stump in front of us, we was knelt down, every single part of our bodies was behind the blades, all good technique. And then just as said, come on then, let's build a little teepee. When you're putting the axe in the log,
Yeah.
Just set it and go and leave it. She put her hand down on the log to stand up 2 or 3 inches away. And
No.
the digits are like, you know, they're like sprigs of asparagus. They would have been gone, you know, and that's how easy it is. The whole knife process, the whole axe process, everything. I couldn't have asked for anything better. She paid attention. She didn't mess around. But that, you know, coming together for a few seconds, I could have had her fingers off or a hand even.
Yeah.
So, like I say, it's just one of them free things that luckily I didn't have to explain it to social services. Why I put an axe through her hand, you know. But
That's it. You've got to be careful. Especially having kids. I mean, you've got... Oh, what the hell's that going on? Just got a bit of echoing. Obviously, you've got kids, so you've got to be even more careful, especially with them being out with you.
Yeah. Well, she's just... You know what? She got it... She's 8 now, and her birthday's in December. So 2 years ago, she got her knife, and it's a Mora Scout knife. You know, the ones with the rounded edge?
Yeah.
So, you know, she's more likely to miss and stick it in herself, so it's got the blunt head. That knife has never once left that sheath without permission, you know. And it used to be kept in my bag, and then I started keeping it on her bag, so she had access to it anytime she wanted. But obviously, she has to do it. She has to do it with an adult. Do it with me. She knows the process of sitting down, having her elbows on the knees, and everything else. And she's never once treat it other than a sharp tool. You know, there's no, even when her friends have been there's been no playing games, no trying to sneaky take it out. You know, there's nothing. She's showed it that much respect, and I absolutely can't fault her. And it makes me laugh because in other parts of her life, she'll like, what does she try to do? The other? She tried to sneak her iPad to school. Do you know what I mean? So she's only still a kid, but that knife, I think, you know, you can drill in the importance of it. And yeah, so she's just upgrading now. I've just got her a new. Well, I was given from a good friend of mine a Mora. Oh, I forgot what the name it is now. I think it's a Mora Classic. You know, the ones that come with the wooden handles.
Yeah.
I think Cody Lundgren uses it a lot. So she's upgrading to a full knife now, full pointed knife. I've just got some leather ordered off eBay. I'm going to make her a sheath, and she's going to keep that on her belt now. So she don't. Sometimes she says she don't feel like the real deal. You know, when I'm doing the YouTube videos or when I've got my knives and that, and you know, so she's got her own backpack and she carries her own kit, she carries her own hammock and that. And I'm going to trust her. I'm going to put the sheath on a belt and I'm going to trust her with it. So,
and we'll have Bruce on the side chat.
Bruce? Who's that? I've never heard of him.
No,
yeah, Oxford's come back and put he's nicked his fingers more times than ever with the Mora. Yeah, that's what I've done basically. Just nicks like little paper cuts. They sting for a few minutes, but bleed like crazy because they're so fine cut.
I think the worst thing I've done is I've tried to take a big post out around, and it's split in half and hit us across the face.
Yeah.
It was a big 12x6 post, and been able to do nothing but laugh.
Mine, the worst injury I've done to myself is carrying something in the dark, carrying a big log in the dark. I put Lady Bower in the Peak District. And I was carrying so much wood on my shoulder because I only wanted to go out of camp once that I bumped into a stump on my shin. Oh, I had a lump on my shin the size of my own head. It was horrible. It was horrible. But getting back to cuts and that, I have cut myself more times than anything else with my bloody Laplander.
Yeah.
When you get to about after you've done a few cuts through the day, and then as you're getting tired, you start getting a bit lazy with it. And I've gone into like my hand, my thumb, my leg. Nearly all my trousers on my right leg have all got sore marks in them.
Yeah, I think that's the other thing. Obviously, they stick as well. If they're sticking a bit of wood and you're trying to pull it out and you're not really paying much attention to what you're doing. I mean, I've done it before, and it's literally raked right across the top of my leg when I've been trying to pull it back out the wood because it's jammed.
It's the same again. It comes down to your own. What's the word? your own sensibility around camp.
Yeah.
I mean, we have a strict rule, if it gets dark, the sharps are away, really. If you're having a drink, the sharps go away. And, you're just protecting yourself. Yeah. If you've had a hard day, like slogging, then there's no point going out to chop some wood. If you've had a bad day around the camp, it's been raining or whatever, and you're wet and tired, leave the sheath on the axe and you'll probably come away with your ankles.
Yeah. Flatbroke Franks just said, have you or anyone you know been searched by the police on suspicion of carrying? No, I don't know anyone that's been stopped. I presume it's just basically if you look like you're up to no good, or if you're doing something to warrant them stopping you, they'll stop you. I've not ever been stopped before.
No, I've not even had it. I've been lucky. The only time we was camping up on Sperm Point on the beach, it was one night, I think it was August a couple of years ago, when the annual meteor shower was just going to sleep on the beach and watch the meteors. And the police turned up in a big Land Rover just as we was unpacking. What are you lot doing? So, well, we're going to sleep on the beach. I said, you got permission? I said, no, but I said, it's owned by the Crown, isn't it? No one really owns the beach. And they said, all right. So, well, what are you doing? You got little kids there and that. So, well, we're just going to watch the asteroids. So, what you got in your bags? And she said, you got knives, all right? So, yeah. I said, well, what you got them for? I said, well, we're going to batten down some wood. We're going to process wood. I said, we ain't even got a lighter between us. We can't start a fire without it. And I suppose that was good enough reason for him. And he was more interested in watching the asteroids with us, watching the meteorites with us. And he wasn't bothered.
Yeah.
Didn't mind. I think he knew that it was there for a good enough reason. And we weren't going to, I don't think there was anyone else within about 5 or 6 square miles. So it's not like it was going to cause anyone trouble.
Right, I've just had a message off Trev. But it's off Tiny Outdoors. Basically, I don't know if anyone's seen the post in the MTFU about Jake's 4x4. I think you know about it, don't you, Kev?
Yeah, I know.
Just obviously, they've raised £1,950 so far. Things seem to be tabling off on the Just Giving page. So Trev's just asked us to give it another shout out on here. But if you know a bit more about it, do you want to say something?
Yeah, well, yeah. So basically, Neil, he's a Land Rover modifier. He's decided to take on a project for himself, by himself, off his own back to build He's actually a good friend of mine. Jake and his dad, Squiffy. They're going to build him an off-road, fully customized off-road scooter. Jake has got various disabilities, and it was getting to the stage where he was struggling to get out with his dad. They've had a bit of bereavement in the family and things like that. So Neil's took on this project to build him a fully customized scooter. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've seen pictures of it. From a subframe to now it's got wheels and steering system and seats and winches and horns and lights and whatever. But it's an electric scooter with some pretty meaty batteries. Obviously, they've got sometimes if his dad's going out for a week or whatever, they've got to last for the week, be able to charge, and they've got to be decent quality. So they've been struggling to raise a bit of funds for batteries. I mean, Neil's put all the winches on out of his shop because he has he has his own business, which we'll have to link in the description and all that.
Yeah, I'm just busy trying to do that now.
Yeah. So we'll put all the full details on. It's 4B, or it's spelled FOURBY. So yeah, Neil's out of his shop. He's put all the winches, the lights, and he's spent all this time and effort on this scooter. But they're getting a bit short of money because they need these top-notch batteries. So I think the post probably needs sharing around again. I know MTFU have got it pinned up at the top of their page. Yeah, so probably will have to make a bit of effort. I know everyone always can't make a donation because it's on like a Just Giving page. But if you can't make a donation, if you can share it around, we might hit somebody that can. So yeah, I personally haven't made a donation myself yet either. It's just one of them things that I've been struggling myself a bit. So I'm sharing it about, and hopefully we can get the money raised for these batteries, and hopefully get the scooter for, this coming up camping season.
Yeah, if everyone checks in the description, I've just put it in the description box for this video. I've just linked the story, like the main story, so it should be all good to go. Just simply so then you all can see it and what have you. It is a great cause. Also, trying to get anyone out is a great cause, especially with the work that they're putting into it as well. Trying to think. Trying to think what else. Painkillers. What sort of painkillers would you have in?
I just have your normal high strength over the counter painkillers. I have actually got a few higher dose ones in there as well for when my spine went, when I slipped my disc. But I've got them in there as absolute dire emergency because they make me a bit drowsy and a bit dozy, like I've got a hangover or like I'm tipsy. So if I did get myself in a bad situation, I'd only have them if I absolutely had to, because the last thing you want to be making is a bad decision on top of an accident, say. So they are in there, but it's only for absolute emergencies. Also, there's a bit of what else is the antacid stuff in there as well. Not that I get it anymore because I've totally stopped drinking alcohol, but sometimes I used to get a bit gassy or whatever, so I used to put them in there. There is a bit of hay fever. I've got some dissolvable hay fever tablets in there as well, and I've got some throat sweets, some like throat lozenges. Not your normal ones, but I sometimes that dangly thing that hangs at the back of your throat.
Yeah.
That sometimes swells up and blocks up my airway. There's something in the woods, I don't know what it is, but every so often, it swells up and blocks my airway. So I have to have a bit of spray and a lozenge to numb it, otherwise I can't swallow or I can't breathe.
I think they're called Tyrosettes.
I have no idea what it is.
Like a little orange tub.
Yeah, they are, yeah.
Yeah, like a little pinky tablet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to use them when I used to have this on. They're really good, actually.
If anyone out there knows any natural remedies to get rid of that thing, I don't know why it just swells up, but it absolutely fills my whole airways, and it's a bit dangerous,
Oxford Bushcraft put on, for anyone that's into natural remedies for pain relief, it's uscrisispreppers.com. There's a whole link. Obviously, you can't really post links in the side chat, but obviously, Basher Dwellers just put on paracetamol, ibuprofen, aspirin will do for most.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's obviously saying don't buy the branded stuff because the cheap stuff's exactly the same.
Yeah.
Which has obviously just been proven over the past few weeks with all of the Nurofen stuff.
It's proven it. I watched it on Watchdog as well with the sun cream last year.
Yeah.
I watched the sun cream, and the best sun cream in the whole of the test. And there was some that was ranging from a couple of quid a bottle to, I don't know, 20 or 30 pound a bottle of sun cream. And the best one come out was Tesco's own brand, followed by Asda's own brand. And Tesco's own brand was 19 pence a bottle. And it was the best sun cream in the test.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, it appears. I mean, I know this is going to sound really weird, but suntan cream, if I'm going somewhere hot, I use suntan cream for about 4 days. Burn, go crispy, and then after that, it doesn't even bother us. I don't even have to wear sun cream, and that's no matter where I go.
Well, I normally wear 20 for the first day, 15 for the second day, and I don't normally bother after that.
Yeah.
A cake Lillian 50 plus or whatever. She's got a lot of Craghoppers clothes from my friend at Craghoppers. Who's got a connection in there, and most of that is UV protected up to 50 something as well.
Yeah.
A lot of their t-shirts and lighter jackets and the trousers and all that, they're all UV protected. So she's pretty covered.
Bruce has put on plantains, or a good anti-hist. I'm presuming plantains that he means.
Yeah.
Plantains. That must be the Essex way of talking. Good for antihistamines, which, to be honest, plantains are pretty much good for anything. If you have,
Yeah.
actually, while I'm here, I've got me herbs and healing plants. I'll have a look, see what's, because that is, I mean, if anyone want that book is just probably one of the better ones to get.
Yeah, but that's another thing about your first aid kits and everything else as well. I mean, it's no good just having it. You've got to have some idea of using it. So you would benefit from
First aid training.
a bit of training, yeah.
Yeah.
Just put someone in the recovery position and, do the ABC checks, the airways, breathing, circulation, that sort of thing. It should be something that we all. I've done a couple. And Lily's done a couple actually. A couple of meets in Scotland. So I've got a general idea. But yeah, just knowledge, like you say, it's knowing them things. The whole thing with bushcraft and thing is knowledge. If you can, the more you know, the less. It's even with your first aid kit, the less that you could take with you.
Yeah. Having said that, though, I wouldn't ever not take a big first aid kit.
Yeah.
Because the last thing you want to happen is something major happen and you've got nothing with you and you've got to hunt around to try and find things which,
For 5 hours when you could have just popped a tablet, yeah.
Yeah, because I think that, well, it was Ron who started the whole what's in your med kit tag. Basically over people saying, oh, that they can find everything in the woods that they need for a first aid kit. It's like, yeah, no.
You try and running around with your little pinky gun.
Well, say you're using an axe and it ends up in your thigh.
Yeah.
That's your femoral artery, what you're going to use. You're screwed, really, because you cannot walk around.
No.
Anybody else in the side chat got anything else they want to add?
My one was like that with survival kit. Obviously, when I first started getting into bushcraft a couple of years ago, I thought it was necessary. I see everyone doing like these bug out bags and the survival kits, so I got the few bucket tins and I had my little wire saw in there and then fire rod and a little knife and a little wind up torch and a condom and some. And then I thought, well, I carry all this in my main kit anyway. I mean, what am I carrying it again for anyway? I don't know. But I suppose it's just a bit smaller, and if I'm going somewhere a bit more long term and I can keep my rucksack or whatever in the camp, and then I go off for a bit of foraging or a bit of fishing or a hike and I take a day sack, I suppose I can chuck it in there. But other than that, I can't see any reason for having one.
No, that's.
I thought, well, I'm carrying 2 knives, I'm carrying 2 ferro rods, and I just couldn't make the sense of why I was carrying this extra survival kit.
I mean, I know that obviously they say 2 is 1, 1 is none, and that sort of thing. But if you're just going into the woods, and it's not like life and death, 1 knife's enough. You don't need to carry. You carry 2 if you start looking dodgy and someone stops you and says, "What you doing?" and you've got 2 knives. It's like, what are you going to use all them for?
Well, I've normally got 3 knives on me anyway. I've normally got my condor on my waist, and then in my carving kit I've got a stainless steel Mora, which I always take because it's good for on the coast if I'm fishing. And then I've got I think it's a Mora 106 carving knife, a smaller scaled down, and then obviously a crook knife. So I've always got 4 knives on me. Another little fold out cheap thing in the survival team was no good to me.
I tend just to carry. I mean, if I'm just going out looking for stuff like roundabout, I'll normally just end up taking my little open L because they're razor sharp. It does everything I need.
Yeah.
I'm busy. Obviously, I don't know if you saw that Grizzly Bushcraft everyday carry knife, or the legal one.
I think I've seen it floating around. I don't think I've really looked into it because it's not something I'm after at the minute.
Well, I got one for it was £6.50. I was like, well, right. I'm going to try it. It's quite sharp out of the box.
Yeah, that was the thing about Moras when I couldn't believe, you get a Mora for £8, and I thought, well, it can't be any good. And then one's never let me down yet, and they do get some ammo, but it's like my mate had one. He must have got it for his 16th birthday, and he had it for 14 years and lost it just before he was 30, and it was his present off his dad. and that's irreplaceable. You know, if I lose a £6 more, I don't care. I'm not bothered. As long as some kid don't find it and kill themselves, I'm not really bothered if I lose it. But
Bruce has said a mirror for face cuts. I think sometimes it's easy, good practice to have a torch or some form of light in your first aid kit as well.
Yeah.
Because chances are you're more likely to walk into a tree branch at head height than you are in the middle of the night than you are to do anything to yourself.
Yeah, true, yeah.
Or trip over a guy line and end up on a stump. Trying to think if there's anything else in the side chat. I don't think there is.
So Bruce has put mirror. Yeah, we've already said mirror. Flat broke, Frank. But if you look at the list of ingredients and shampoo or medication, you will find that the cheaper brands have the same ingredients as the expensive. Yeah, well, I think we all knew that, really. Like you say, it's all coming to light now that we've basically been getting ripped off. He's also said, do you think carrying a spoon carving knife will persuade the old Bill that you're serious about the craft? I think it's more the person. If you're running around flashing it and showing it at people, you're going to get yourself in trouble. If you're carrying it in Tesco's or in the supermarket, or in my case, I carried one into the courthouse, which wasn't the best thing. Yeah, or like a playground or hospital, you're going to get looked at suspicious. If it's buried in your pack and they find it buried in your pack and it's not to hand, you've got more of a chance of getting away with it.
Yeah, I mean, I've got, for stuff like that, I've got, the MTP respirator pouches.
Yeah.
They come with the side pouches, the molly ones. I normally put my knife and my saw in that and put it right at the bottom of my bag. Just so it's out the way.
Yeah, I actually don't really. I have a 2-inch tactical belt, and the stuff that I carry is on that, and I just put that. I put it in the boot. For most places I camp, I just get out the car and I'm basically not far from the woods, and then I put it on and just walk around while I'm in the woods with it on my belt. So really, I could get myself in trouble that way because it's to hand. Really, even though it's in the boot, it's still classed as a bit to hand. But I'm sure my good looks and my charm could get me out of the situation.
That's the thing. If you're not doing anything stupid, they've got no reason to stop you.
No.
Sean's Basher Dwellers said tweezers for splinters.
Yeah, I think we hit on that. I think I hit on that a bit earlier.
Yeah. I don't really bother with splinters unless they're like a big splinter. I don't really tend to bother with them.
No.
No, I've never really.
Lily, because Lily's when she's got one, it's the end of the world. It has to come out.
Well, the old trick of trying to get it out with a paper clip.
This is again. This is what I mean. You have to. Your first aid kit has to reflect you and what you're going to be doing. My little girl, middle of winter, -10, whatever. She's always with me. I probably only get on 1 or 2 camps a year where she's not there, and I probably camp 30 weekends a year. So a lot of mine has to be able to, mine's got Peppa Pig plasters in it because it makes her feel better when she's got a little nick.
Don't lie, the Peppa Pig ones are yours.
Yeah, but it's got to reflect you and what you're going to be doing.
Basher Dwellers just put zinc oxide tape, compede, stuff like that for obviously your feet. Yeah, that's a really good one actually. Especially if you're walking quite far between places. The last thing you need is bad feet. I know I walked Hadrian's Wall. I did about 12 mile in wet boots. By the time I got back home, I nearly needed plastic surgery on my heel.
Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't helped by the fact that I kind of burst the blister and ripped the skin off it. But I wasn't very old at that point. I was quite stupid. I wouldn't be doing that again.
Yeah.
But
The only thing with like the zinc oxide tape and that is that it soaks up moisture, doesn't it?
Yeah. it does end up quite heavy.
Yeah. So if you get like a transport tape, like a Nextcare plasters or something like that, they don't absorb water.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't tend to carry, that micropore tape.
Mm-hmm.
I don't tend to carry that because I find it doesn't really stick to me. I prefer the fabric strapping because that's really sticky. Not as breathable, but I'm guaranteed that it's going to stay there.
Yeah.
Bruce obviously just touched on sunscreen. Bruce, are your meds kicking in yet? Because you're about a half hour behind.
Easily. I think you missed the first bit when I did my first 5 minutes. What about a lighter? Does anyone carry a lighter in the first aid kit? Obviously, you'd mentioned on about safety pins and stuff. Does anyone carry a lighter to like sterilize tweezers? Or I don't personally. Well, I'm not a smoker, so I don't really have that access to a knife. But it's an idea. You can sterilize if you're going to be stitching yourself or something like that. You can sterilize the needles. So it's just an idea.
Yeah, I mean, I've got lighters in my pack. I've got 2 lighters, 1 gas and 1 Zippo. That's, 2's enough. To be honest, 1 would do. I mean, even if you got matches or something, some of them waterproof matches, you could use them.
Yeah, definitely. What about anyone else in the chat? Can anyone else pick up on some? I might have missed. I'm not like I'm say. I'm just giving you my list. I'm nowhere near the finished article or anything like that. If you think I've read out my list, if I'm missing something, then I appreciate your advice and your info as well.
Yeah, Sean said mobile phone, letting someone know where you're going and what time you'll be back. It's kind of first aid. Yeah, that is, because obviously if no one knows where you're going and what time you're meant to be coming back, you're kind of screwed if something happens and you're not back then.
Yeah, I've just seen it. I was watching Ray Mears earlier, and he was doing a bit of a survival story in the desert. Some new tracker took a group of holiday makers out, didn't tell anyone where he was going, and then when he was in the desert, the Land Rover failed. The Land Rover overheated, and no one knew where there was. No phone signals were out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not first aid. It's just good camp practices, really. I think more first aid, especially if you're going somewhere by yourself or you're going somewhere new. Yeah, definitely let people know. Also prepare for, basically you've got to prepare for the worst, even though you don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
So that will come down to camp practice and carrying your maps and I don't know, a satellite phone. They've just lost a load of people up a mountain somewhere, aren't there? Loads of people got died and cut out.
Yeah, well, I think they're still searching for that couple that were up on near Ben Nevis.
Oh, they're still searching for them.
Yeah, I don't think they found them yet.
So even if you do everything, like you say, you can even do everything right. You can tell people where you are. You can carry this, you can carry that, and you still might be unlucky. So.
Oxford Bushcraft says he likes to carry a bit of isopropyl alcohol to sterilise it. Yeah. It is if you've ever get an alcohol in a cut,
Yeah. Well, that's it. The other thing is water. Nice clean water. But often we don't carry a litre of water, but it's good to know you've got some. If you are going to be doing some carving or some battening or processing wood, if you do have a bit of clean water at the side, and then you don't have to go and put your hands in a muddy stream to go get some water to clean the water, to filter it, to process this, to wash the cut out in the first place. So it's all another thing. It's just another one that's camp practice more than first aid, but most of us should have a bit of. Well, I'm definitely carrying a lot more water to hand at the minute where I'm bedding down at night in the pine forest.
Yeah,
we've always got a bit of spare water knocking about there just in case.
I mean, on med kits, I don't know if anyone in the side chat carries a one for the animals if they take animals with them. Because I know if I go walking, I've got my own med kit and I've got one for the dogs. Just because you never know, stuff could happen with them. Probably more so than it happens with you. And I know one thing I've got in there is, the sterile eye washes.
Yeah.
Because if push comes to shove, it is a little bit of water, and it's sealed, and it, It's not going anywhere. It's not much, but it's probably enough to rinse something off or get fluids into them.
Yeah. What's the tourniquet? I don't know if anyone carries a tourniquet or stuff like splints or like that. I don't, but it might be useful to somebody. I don't know.
I don't, but then I wear a belt, so it's you could probably fashion a one if you need it to.
Yeah. I wouldn't know I was doing it right. That's another thing. To be honest, I wouldn't know if I was doing it right.
It's not really something you can test either.
No, I'm not hacking off a limb just to see if I can try a tourniquet out. Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned it before, but I've got my my little tick remover in my first aid kit as well.
Yeah, they're really good because the last thing you want is limes.
Yeah. Well, Ray Mears had it for ages, didn't he?
Yeah.
Only just found out last week.
Yeah, especially walking through like ferns and stuff like that.
I don't think they're that much of a problem down in North Lincolnshire here. I think we're sort of in an area where it's above us and below us.
Yeah.
But there's another thing for how much they weigh and how cheap they are. I think it's like $1.99, and it's in there just in case.
Well, if you're really a right skinflint and won't spend the money on you could make it out of an old credit card. I think. I think who was it? I'm trying to think. It was John J. Rambo. He did it out of an old like video card. The plastic video cards.
Yeah.
It was one of them. So you can make them, but for how cost effective they are, you might as well just go and buy it. Sean said if you need a tourniquet, you're fucked. Well, yeah, I'd agree with that one.
Yeah. Someone's carrying alcohol. Yeah, it's good to start a fire with. Good whiskey to sterilise, and you can drink it to calm your nerves. Yeah.
If it's a good whiskey, you do not use it to sterilise anything. You drink it pure and simple.
Yeah, the problem will go away when you've had a skinful of that. When I was younger, when I was a lot younger, in my late teens, when I was first getting into camping and stuff, it wasn't bushcraft and it wasn't leave no trace. It was see how big you can make a fire. And to be honest, if I'm truthful, it was leave all your rubbish on the fire. Typical teenager. That was sort of my camping back then. But we found a load of pallet wood, and I jumped on this slat to snap it, and the nail just comes straight through my trainer, straight out the bottom, straight out the top of my foot. And I lift my leg up, and it just looked like I had a ski on my leg. But you know what it was like? It was like, yeah, get drunk. Didn't feel it. Didn't feel it go through. Didn't feel it. Fell asleep in the tent, pissed. Feet outside of the tent. I woke up in the morning. I was like, oh my God, what is that? And then I realised, straight down hospital, straight for a tetanus.
Yeah.
Missed everything important and just come straight out. But yeah, alcohol saved me that night.
Yeah. Funniest thing I've seen when I had an allotment, and we had, a typical allotment has a caravan on it. I think everyone's got one. And I had a scrap man come to pick it up. So me and two of my mates ripped the entire inside out, all the supporting stuff and everything, and decided to jump on the top of it.
Oh, great.
One mate jumped off the side of it because he was like, nah, it's too wobbly. Jumped off the side of it. And again, pallet nails straight into his foot.
Oh.
Brown nail saved him at that point. It's just stupid stuff like that. Obviously, when you're younger, you don't really notice it.
Yeah. Like I said, the thought of it now nearly makes me want to pass out. But at the time, like in front of all my mates, so tipsy, it was just like funny, just lifting this ski up on my leg. It was just a joke. But oh God, it makes me cringe just thinking about it.
I've tried to put more work into my first aid kit. I know that since I was making some paracord lanyards, and I was using bullet casings, and I stupidly held the bullet casings with a pair of pliers and tried to drill into it. Slipped out the out the pliers and into the end of my finger.
Yeah.
The only thing that stopped it from going right through was my nail.
Oof.
And I didn't have anything to hand or anything like that, so literally dirty dishcloth wrapped around it just to try and stem the bleeding.
Oh.
Yeah, it was one of them places where it was quite deep, but they couldn't stitch it.
Yeah.
So that's obviously just being stupid as well, not paying attention to what you're doing, even though you think you know what you're doing.
Don't you think as humans, though, we're badly designed with fingernails?
Yeah.
Should they be on the inside?
Well, you would have thought.
No. Or your toenail should have been on the underside of your toes, like when you was walking barefooted through the caves and the jungles and stuff. It's one thing that's always made me question me, like, what? It's like knew we was going to be using hammers.
Both put electrolyte, salt, and Imodium. Hasn't been mentioned. Obviously, diarrhea. You don't know if you get anything, if you pick anything up in the water, and you start crapping yourself, you're going to dehydrate. So salt is a good one.
Yeah, I think I've got some in there for diarrhea, but I'm not 100% sure. Normally, when I'm camping, I'm eating that much rich food that there's no consistency to it at any camp, so it's nothing new.
Yeah, I think King's TLC says natural remedies, medicinal, are good to know and learn. Moss has an amount of iodine. Willow has aspirin. Plantain is good, very good for healing, antiseptic properties. I've just actually been having a look in there while we're talking, and ribwort plantain, you know, the one with the 5 ribs on the leaves.
Yeah.
That's used to treat colds, coughs, and bronchial inflammation. So obviously that would probably do the same thing as your numbing tablets.
Yeah.
So I think they all pretty much do similar things. Obviously, I wouldn't suggest anyone go pick anything that they don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's a touchy subject for a chat. I've got a friend that's 5 years into his mushroom studies, and he said that he'll come on my chat, and you know, and then I've got someone that's do a lot of foraging, like Di, who I've had on, and she's offered members to come up and spend a bit of time with her for free camping and stuff, and do some walks and stuff like that. It's like, if anyone goes away and gets hurt from my chat or my group or this chat, and we've spoke about it, you know, is there going to be implications from that? So it's a tough one to touch on.
Yeah, it is, obviously, but then obviously I think so long as everyone mentions, you do so at your own risk, and if you're not paying attention and you don't really know what you're doing, you've got to be 1000% sure with stuff like that. I mean, I know I'm just touching on me mushrooms and stuff like that, and you can never learn everything. There's always something.
He said is 5 years in, and is only, the course runs over that slower time. There's only into about 10 or 12 edibles. That's all they've covered up to now. 3 deadlies and something else, I think he said, I can't remember. But that's after 5 years into his course. And he's only into 12 edibles, or, you know. So it's a long old process. It's a bit of a lifetime thing to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking at it like more into it the past year, and I think I can only positively ID 1 or 2, and that's about it. Everything else, if I'm not sure, I'm not touching it.
All right, what's it about? Oh, sorry, no, he's 5 years into it, and he knows about 20 edible, 5 deadly, and 3 recreational. So he's up to about 20. So that's only, you know, that's only 4 a year. So there must be like a module, like of 3 months on 1 mushroom, and that's it, 1 edible, you know. So they must have to, in that 3 months, they must have to find, identify, and, you know, be able to name it at the drop of a hat, you know. So they're really, it's not, like you say, it's not a rushed thing what they're learning there.
King's TLC says charcoal from your fire will help settle your stomach as well.
Yeah, and brush your teeth, but I don't fancy it.
No. I'd have to be really ill to be wanting to try that. Obviously, Bash as well says you need to look into this natural remedy stuff. Obviously, there's so much to learn.
It's never ending. It's not even about learning. It's about a lifestyle choice, really.
I think if you're into this and you're not learning anything new, you're in the wrong thing, really.
Yeah, it's not a way of life. I'm sure everyone who's got social media was here all kicking off with Quebec.
Yeah.
It's a way of life. I mean, I'm not embarrassed, but I've never once called myself a bushcrafter. I've never. I don't think I've earned the title. You know, I'm only like 3 years into my own journey. I can't do things at the drop of a hat. I can't name trees at the drop. So I would never. I've just never called myself a bushcrafter. I always call myself like an adventurous cow, an outside lover or whatever. But yeah, I think my chat on Thursdays with David McRae, and he's the same. He's he's an instructor here, instructor there, done all courses, been all over the world, and the chat is about incorporating bushcraft into your own everyday life. You know, incorporating it. You know, you can't go past McDonald's without seeing a bit of flaky birch and peeling it off, or whatever. So that's what the chat's going to be about, and it's the same. It's not. It becomes like, yeah, it just becomes a way of life rather than a skill set, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
It's just never. You're just never going to. It's never. I don't know. I wouldn't. The top 5 men in bushcraft altogether still wouldn't know everything. You know, it's impossible.
Yeah. It's one of them things. It's probably one of the better hobbies to know, to be into, because you're constantly learning something different all the time.
Yeah, but it just takes you so many different ways. Like you say, you're learning about your mushrooms and wild edibles, and healing properties from plants. And then the next man next to you will be learning leathercraft, and the next man will be learning forgery for knives, and it's so vast. No one can know everything. You'll go to the grave not knowing everything. You'd be lucky if you know 50% of it, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to try and do some flint knapping and stuff.
Oh yeah, I've seen your kit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've ordered it, so I'm just waiting for that coming. Go
on, sorry, mate.
Oh, sorry.
What did you say? You got it off Warlord's site, did you?
Yeah. What I didn't realise, because I added it to the basket, because I was having a look around. But they've got a little PayPal button, which you can just buy it now. You go on the PayPal button, you buy it now, you pay that price that you see on screen. You go add it to your basket, you pay £8 extra for shipping.
What?
I was like, yeah, I think I'll just pay for it now. Pay after delivery is great.
Yeah. Who was it in the group? I think it might have been in the WhatsApp side of things that posted the leather kit.
That was Bruce.
Was it Bruce?
The starter leather kit.
Yeah.
On eBay for like £35.
Yeah, £5 delivery. I've just got one. I just bought one off eBay yesterday.
Yeah, they are really good.
That knife that I said earlier that Lily was moving on to, it's got a plastic sheath, so I'm going to make her a leather sheath. So I've just bought all the leather and all the dyes and all the rest of it. So probably get a few pictures to see how that's going.
Thing is, though, I mean, first attempts, unless you're tank tracks, your first attempt's normally your worst one.
Yeah. Well, what spurred me on, I was really happy with my dump pouch, even though I put the belt loop on upside down. The stitching was nice. It was all lined up. It was all neat. And I thought, and then I see that the prices that people are selling them for, and I'm thinking £50.
Yeah.
I was just like, well.
Thing is, I mean, when you start looking into it and the amount of work that goes into it, yeah, you can see where the money goes.
Yeah.
It's not like they're working for free or anything like that.
Oh, no. That's what I'm saying. I've got nothing but time at the minute. I'm still not ready for work, I don't think. I still don't think my back's strong enough. So I've just been sitting on the bloody PlayStation or Xbox, just tossing my days off. So I'm just going to do something a bit productive and see if it leads anywhere.
I think the hardest one I did leather work wise, I did a round bottom pouch, just with a drawstring top.
Yeah. And
it took us forever, because obviously you've got your line down the side, and then you've got to go all around. Obviously put the bottom piece in.
Yeah.
It took forever to work out that.
Well, I did one for my billy can. And then, like you sew it inside out. Yeah. When you turn it back round, it would not fit. when it was all lying down on the floor and everything, yeah, I left a good 10 or 15 mil excess all the way around and that, and nah, it would not slide over this frigging billy can.
No, that's another thing you've got to learn with stuff like that. Sizes, obviously, everything's smaller than what you think it's going to be.
Yeah, by the time you've turned it inside out, there was no chance. And it's not really the supplest of stuff to stretch over, is it?
No, I think because I don't know how we've managed it, but we've managed to get an hour. I was expecting it to just be a short one with no one being here. So what we'll do, we'll just end the chat there, and we'll catch you all next week. Thanks for tuning in. I hope it's answered a few questions. I know it's been a bit of an odd chat, but no, I hope everyone's happy. Obviously, if you can like, comment, and subscribe to the MTFU channel, obviously go check out Kev's channel. I'll put all the links and stuff below. It's Thursday you've got your chat on, isn't it?
Yeah, Thursdays at 9.
Yeah, so if you all go check out Kev's chat as well, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers, guys. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.